Hi everybody. I want to talk to you about the rescuers unit that you're coming up on, but I want to talk a little bit about the Prezi presentations. So let's move on quickly here. How I graded the presentations. I took a point off if there were proofreading errors. One group had a glaring error, like April 1st, 1993. So be sure that you're proofreading. Some groups had run-on sentences. I noted that. Now you're thinking, wow, she's being really picky. Yeah, I am, because these go out to the public, and you don't want to have that kind of error in a public site, because that hampers your credibility, and you want to be able to have some credibility with people if they get back to you. On the sections, you could have lost points for one or more section that lacked detail. So yeah, it would have been a point a section. So if you got a grade, your group got a grade something like 15, that was probably because you had not enough detail in each section, and there were errors elsewhere. You got a point off if you ended at 1945, and you're going to argue, well, that was when our theme ended. Well, what was the consequences of the Nazi assault? What was the consequences of the acts against the Jews? What were the consequences of the persecution? That was the Nuremberg trials, that was the decree as to what genocide is, and that was the founding of Israel. So those were important events to put in. So you lost a point if you ended at 1945. Now, there were pictures that didn't match the text. That didn't happen very often. If it happened once, okay. If it happened more than once, I took a point off. I wanted them to be thorough, and for the most part they were. And grades were high. Now, that's not the only thing that you're graded on. The grade that you see right now in grades, if you go there Sunday or Monday, is the grade just on the presentation. You need to fill out the survey on participation, and there's a link at the very bottom of last week's assignments, right after the Prezis assignment. Scroll down and you'll see a link to a survey. And this is where you can talk about how the presentation went, what the problems were, what you needed to do, what other classmates did or didn't do. And I will take the survey and the information I have from your group discussion board and assign a participation grade. So let's say that you have 20 on the presentation. It went really well, but you did not participate very well and got a 17 on participation. That means I will average those two together, and the grade on the Prezi will be 17 or 18.5. On the other hand, if you are 15 and 20, that would raise your grade to 17.5. 15 for the presentation, 15 on the presentation, and 20 on the participation. You're going to get 17.5, so your grade goes up. Now, this week, there are three assignments. Yeah, there are three. First of all, you are going to complete by yourself an annotated bibliography. There should be a Y there. I'm sorry, it's early in the morning. Your annotated bibliography requires research, and I am very specific about that, and it requires MLA format. And when we go into the classroom to look at this, I'll explain that in detail. There's a quiz on Schindler's List, and you need to read carefully about the film techniques. Don't blow it off, or you will not do well on the quiz. You need to read about the film techniques so that when you're watching Schindler's List, you can jot down notes about what you see. The annotated bib goes to me. It's due should be due by the end of the first week, if not earlier. I'm not grading it until the 15th, though, or, the day after the 15th. Now, completed by your group, I want you to note your group may have changed. A member may be added. And I did that because in one group went down to 2 people and their 2 other classmates did not do well. So I removed them from group work. Anybody that didn't participate last week, I removed from group work. And if you can't find a group, you need to contact me. There was one group that fell apart. There were just 2 people, so I took them and put them in with groups so that they don't have to work alone, the 2. You're going to use Weebly, which is a very simple way to put together a web page. And you're going to choose a rescuer from bibliographies that you created. So your group's going to go back to the annotated bibliography, and you're going to compare them. I would, post them to your group so that your group can see who the people are, or just post a list of their names and not the whole bibliography. And then when you see that there's one name mentioned more than once, and that should happen, choose one of those people to create the bibliography. Nobody can work on Schindler. Okay? I'm going to go now to the assignment page. And as it says, this is before watching Schindler. And there's a glossary of terms. The first thing I give you is a list of characters because it gets confusing watching Schindler. You might want to print that out or have that open as you watch the film. Then I want you to review the glossary of terms on film as literature. Now, you're going to find a whole bunch. Don't do the whole bunch. Look mostly at these here. I only picked up a few, the most important in literature. Look at that, watch the film, and then you're going to take the quiz. Remember, don't open the quiz until you are ready to take it. And that's because you've watched Schindler's List and you've done it using the terms. Then you're going to do the annotated bibliography. And when you click on it, there is a PDF file. And you click on that. And you've got your annotated bib, what I'm looking for. I want you to find 10 different rescuers. I want you to explain who the rescuer was and what the rescuer did to save the Jews, one Jew or many. Please read the link that's provided for a description of an annotated bib. One is how to write an annotated bibliography. The other is how to put it into MLA format. Then there are databases you need to use, and you can find them at the Delta website, library website. And you can log into them as long as you are a Delta student. You use your Delta student ID and password. So don't say to me, I can't get into this because. No. In fact, all of them I picked, there's no login needed, so you shouldn't run into that. Okay? Getting back to the assignment. Where am I? There we go. You are going to complete that. It's due October 15. But notice for the next assignment, the rescuer's webpage, which is also due that date, you have a rescuer's presentation. So you're going to have to know who the people are that you're researching. You may not have the bibliography done, but you know who you're going to be researching maybe, and throw those names up on your rescuer's group website as soon as you can so you can start discussing who you're going to do. So what your group needs to do is create a web page, one that all of you can edit. Or if you want just one person to edit, then make it that way, give them the information. You need to have a discussion about which rescuer to study. Then one person creates the Weebly. Now you only need to do one person, but you can create more than one page in your website. You can put all this information on one page, or you can put all this information on different pages with links between the pages. You need to have a title, the rescuer's name, a picture of the rescuer, a country in which the rescuer worked, the motivation, if known, who the rescuer rescued, and if the rescue is honored at the Vad Yashim, you want to go there and see if you can find their name, and you'll find information there. Now, the rubric, the rubric is the project has a web page at Weebly. That's one point, just getting the web page. It has the requirements above. That's 2. And you have a 12, and a bibliography of the sources used. That's 2 points. So you know how you're going to be graded. Let me see, where did it go? I lost my web page. There we go. I will have a link to a survey for participation of the Rescuer's webpage. I don't have it up yet, but it will be there. Again, if you have any questions, if this seemed like a babbling bunch of information, contact me through Remind, through a text message, through raise your hand. And if it's something you think your classmates would want, please put it on raise your hand. That way everybody gets the answers. But contact me. And leave me questions in your group area about the group thing by just putting attention Prof. Nadine, okay, in the subject line. And then, list your questions right in your group. That way I know what to look for as you're moving through the group. Make sure I get the web address, okay? Make sure I get the web address. And then the last thing I want to say, nothing worth having comes easy. And I know already at this very moment that you worked very, very hard on the Prezis. And I know you will work very, very hard on the group presentation. And I believe through group presentation you learn more. And I also believe that you are learning skills about how to work with other people that will bode well in the future. So great work, and remember to work hard because you will be rewarded.